we connect to our inner child and we heal the suppressed emotions, we are doing our adult shadow work and we are doing ancestral healing in one fell swoop. Amazing!
Welcome to Conversations with the Ancestors, where we connect to ancestral wisdom, cosmic insight, and healing rituals to redeem and liberate our souls. You're here because your higher self and your ancestors brought you here. So get your tea or coffee, take a breath, and settle in because, baby, this is for you.
What up, divine being? Welcome to Conversations with the Ancestors. And I don't know about you, but this eclipse season that has taken us all by storm has really run me, some of my friends, and maybe even you through the ground. Like, it has popped up and shown some things to us, okay? And this weekend we had the new moon, the second new moon in Virgo season, and now we are in Libra season. We have entered Libra season. So let's get into a little bit of cosmic insights, because as you know, this podcast is about connecting to our lineage, connecting to ourselves, connecting to the cosmos and the universe, because they are also forms of ancestors. So we tap on how ancestry shows up in multiple layers. And this cosmic insight that I want to share definitely taps on that piece of like the universe and the cosmos being co-creators with us and also ancestors to us. So Libra season is all about connection and like social connection, relational connection. And as I mentioned, this this eclipse season that just passed, that we just had the solar eclipse this past weekend on September 21st with the new moon. And we're still kind of in the shadow period of that as of this recording, which is September 23rd. But with that shadow season, not the shadow season, but the shadow like side of the eclipse, in Libra season, it's about social and relating to people. And now we get a chance to socially integrate all that was uncovered, all that was transformed, everything that like we saw about ourselves in the eclipse season. We have now the opportunity to integrate that within our relationships. So this time, this season, and into the next 6 months is really gonna be showing you who in your sphere of relationships, in your community, that like get you without you having to explain or over explain who you are, what you are, why you are. We've talked about transitioning and shifting from one version to another, and that like each day we have the opportunity to be a new version of ourselves. Like literally we are basically a new version of ourselves. And so in this Libra season, you might start to see some shifts take place in your relationships as like you begin to integrate who you are, how you've transformed from the eclipse season, and what that means for how you engage with other people in your friendship group, family members, etc. So I want to encourage you that as you integrate that, as you connect with people that you love, maybe friendships change, maybe you have to create new boundaries with people, maybe your aesthetics change and people aren't understanding it, whatever the case may be. Like, as you work through that and transition, definitely call in your higher self to guide and support you. Call in your elevated guides. Call in your good and well ancestors to support you, uphold you, and give you guidance through that process. Because that's going to be really helpful. Sometimes these changes can be a little sticky, and people may look and be like, yo, you are acting and moving differently, and they don't get it. And so that rift, or that kind of uncomfortableness between you and folks that you used to like really get along with, or maybe you never actually really got along with them, but you were telling yourself you were getting along with them, whatever the case may be, as you start to stand in the newness of who you are and be more authentic to yourself and how you move and how you think, this is the opportunity to really release relationships that don't connect with that, and call in and connect to those people who you may know or you may not know yet, that are like your soul family, your cosmic family, those folks who really get you and get what you're saying without you having to like over explain. Where in the world is Robin, Denise? Do y'all remember that show, Carmen Sandiego? It's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? So Robin Denise doesn't have as many syllables as Carmen Sandiego, so the like what I tried to do didn't really work. But I feel like y'all picked up what I was putting down. And side note, I used to love Carmen Sandiego growing up. And I know that like I'm probably dating myself. It's fine. I do not care. Carmen Sandiego was that one. Like, she was on her spy shit, going across countries and like doing spy stuff, and with her red hat. I remember they did like a reiteration of it, because Carmen Sandiego was a cartoon originally, and then I remember seeing like a live action TV show of Carmen Sandiego, and it wasn't giving like the way the older episodes were, and like that's fine, like it was a new generation. They tried to do a new spin. I have no idea if that show is even still syndicated anywhere in the world. But if you know what Carmen Sandiego was or is, drop a fire emoji, or like a red hat or a red heart or something, or even like a San Diego glyph. I don't know. Drop something to let me know I'm not the only one that vibes with Carmen Sandiego. But where in the world am I? I did not tell you where I was last week because I wanted the focus to be on connecting to our environments. And I promised that I would tell you where I am this week. So, drum roll, please. I'm in Maryland, and today I had the opportunity to give some offerings and do some of my spiritual work outside, and that felt really, really good. I got signs that my offering was received. And I've mentioned offerings before, but I want to give just a little bit more about offerings, and just giving offerings to ancestors, giving offerings to the land, and also giving offerings to yourself. Like, we've talked about how you are an ancestor and celebrating you is important. So you should also be giving offerings to yourself, getting yourself gifts, pampering yourself, pouring into yourself. That is giving offerings to you. And we give offerings because, so here's the thing. When I was thinking about explaining this a little further to y'all, what dropped into my spirit was tithing. And this is not about religion. I'm not pushing religion. When I say God, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about universe and source and divinity. As I mentioned tithing, I'm not trying to coerce or bring anybody to a religious sect, if that makes sense. But if you are aware of what tithing is, it's like giving 10% of your income to the church or to something, like it could be to a nonprofit, even that, like giving out of your of your being, of your stuff to somebody else. And with giving offerings to ancestors, we're giving offerings for multiple different reasons. One, in an act of appreciation. You could be giving offerings because you're asking for something and you need to give an offering for that to start moving, for the ancestors to start moving. There's lots of reasons to give offerings. There's lots of different types of offerings. And my free resource, the Ancestor Altar Guide and Checklist, goes into why we give offerings, who they're for, why we need them, what are good offerings to start with to the ancestors, all of that. So I encourage you and implore you to go download that from my website, robindenise.com/altar, or you can just go to robindenise.com and it will be there on the home screen. But that guide and checklist is chef's kiss, and we'll go into that in like much detail, more detail than I can do in this quick podcast.
This is for you. This is for
Say your name, say your name. When we're talking about ancestors, we also talking about you. So why don't you say your name? Say your name, say your name. We go into inner child loving, so let's say your name. I don't write these things down. I just want you to know these ditties that I transform on a weekly basis, I do not write them down. I don't script them. I literally just, what flows out of my mouth is what flows out of my mouth. Okay? So, y'all, I appreciate y'all being with me. What is the ancestor we are getting into today? If you listened to the ditty amongst all of my kind of pauses and whatnot, you will see that the ancestor we're talking about is still getting deeper into you, divine being. One of the things I noticed this past eclipse is that it highlighted fears, especially the deep-seated fears that were instilled when most of us were young, and for some of us when we were in utero. And something I shared in my subscriber emails this past week, I gave like rituals and some other things to support moving through the eclipse and the new moon with ease. But one of the things that I said in that email was that the eclipse is giving us the opportunity to face and release those deep-seated fears so that our most authentic self can shine. And side note, if you want to receive some cosmic insights, some rituals, some ceremonies, some support in just your own spiritual journey and your spiritual development, join my subscriber list. It's completely free. You don't get bombarded with email. You can go to my website again to find that. It is on my homepage. Scroll down to the bottom and you can subscribe to receive emails. And yeah, so that's there for you. Back to what I was saying. This eclipse really allowed us the opportunity to face those fears, release them so that we could stand in our authentic fullness. And the most authentic being of us, the authentic us before all of the fears got instilled and set in, that version of us was our inner child. As I mentioned in the last episode, the past versions of us are also ancestors, which also includes your inner child. That is a past version of you. the inner child is an ancestor, is your ancestor. I have this oracle deck called the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle Deck by Maggie Wilson. A phenomenal deck. It is beautifully like decorated. I mean, if you haven't used it, or if you are looking for an oracle deck to start with or something, I recommend this oracle deck. Again, it's called the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle Deck. This is not me, like they did not pay me to say this at all. This is just, I have this deck and I love it. So in that deck, I'm going to quote it. There's a card that connects to the inner child, and the card says, the suppressed emotions of the child became the shadow work of the adult. When we're thinking about intergenerational and generational healing and healing our ancestors, when we connect to our inner child and we heal the suppressed emotions, we are doing our adult shadow work and we are doing ancestral healing in one fell swoop. Amazing. Amazing. Another thing that same card mentioned around inner child is it encourages the reader to dive into the inner child years and lift the veil on a time when someone made you feel less like yourself. That's the part of this week's work, is encouraging you to connect to your inner child and also sitting with some of the things that may have made you feel less than when you were a child. May have, and I'm not saying to go to this place where you can't come out of. If you need to do this work with a coach, I'm a spiritual coach, you could do some of that work with me. With a therapist, with a trained professional, please do so. If you've been on this journey of self-discovery for some time now, and you know that you can look back at your childhood things and sit with them in a certain way to be able to move through and lift the veil and understand that you have always been good enough. You are more than enough. This is an opportunity for you to focus on coming back to the you before the taintedness or the hurt or anything else that shifted you from feeling like yourself. And when we couple connecting to the truth of our inner child and healing those wounds and releasing those fears and finding the us that was the most authentic us, when we couple that version with the grown-up version of ourselves, the one who can process and think and fully be in our body, and like, because as a child, our brain is not fully developed, but the essence of us is. And so what I'm saying is connect to the ancestor that is showing you the deepest essence of you so that you can bring forward that essence to your now. And it's not saying that you don't have the deep essence of you now. What I'm saying is there's pieces that your inner child is wanting and willing to share with you. As an ancestor, there's always something that the ancestry has to share, to bless, to enlighten, to highlight for us. So as our inner child is also an ancestor, going to sit at the foot of your inner child ancestor and say, what else do you have to teach me about the essence of me? And taking that lesson, taking that connection forward to your now being to allow you and to support you in standing even deeper in who you are authentically. Man, that tongue tied me up. Because really, that's the truth of the matter. You have always been amazing. You have always been good enough. That's the truth. And it's time for us to really let go of the stuff that made us feel other than the divine beings that we are. So so that we can stand in our divinity. We can stand in the fullness of who we are and show up fully for our purposes. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not a one-time thing. Like, this stuff continues on. We keep growing, we keep evolving. But when we have the ancestor of our inner child with us, we will keep learning and keep seeing the different levels of the essence of us so that we can just be the badass being we're supposed to be.
This is for you, ancestors, it's for you. This is for you, for you, for you, for you.
You guys, by now, if you've been listening, I've mentioned that I have these 3 pillars in which the majority of my work is founded upon. And they are sacred expression, empowered legacy, and communal healing. We've done some sacred expression stuff. We've done some empowered legacy. This week is about communal healing. I know for me, like, it's always my continual work to keep bringing my young inner child's lightness and levity and laughter to my day-to-day life, to not be so serious. That's my inner child. That's my work. And so in this communal healing, we are going to do a communal healing practice today. This practice is from that oracle deck. So I would like for you to get in a comfortable position. Your eyes can be open or closed. 3 clarifying breaths, which is in through the nose and you exhale out through the mouth. So let's do some clarifying breaths. In through the nose, exhale out through the mouth with a sigh. In through the nose and exhale. Last one, in through the nose and exhale. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your third eye. And on your heart is going to be, in the middle of the chest. The third eye is that spot on your forehead between your 2 eyes. And imagine that you see a burning white flame. This flame is alchemizing all thoughts and programs that don't serve you anymore. All thoughts and programs that are hindering you from stepping into the fullness of who you are. It is alchemizing anything that is a stumbling block, anything that is not in alignment with your highest being and your highest purpose. And this white flame is lighting up your heart with the energy of truth. The energy of truth of who you are. The energy of truth of who you've always been. The energy of truth. Take some time to let that settle in. You can remove your hands when you're ready. As we come to a close, there is this thing going around on social media called the Great Lock-In. And it's about taking these last 3 months of this year to really go inward, to separate yourself from all of the madness that's happening out here in these streets and going inward to you, to bring forth your wants, your ideas, your goals. In these next 3 months, if you decide to do the lock-in or some variation of it, I want to encourage you to go inward, thinking like the Hermit card in the tarot, right? The Hermit card is a hermit, but it's also working on that internal light to allow it to shine out like the lantern, like the lighthouse. Use this next 3 months to integrate things that we've talked about, to integrate things that have illuminated from the eclipse, to integrate with your connection to society, to your relationships, to the newness of yourself, to integrate with your ancestors, the past versions of you, your inner child, the land. And I'm going to play a clip from Janelle Monáe. She gives some really supportive affirmations and ways of thinking that I believe will help you and I over the next 3 months. I love you. Enjoy this clip, and I will see you next time.
Let me give y'all some gems. I'm better than this moment. It will pass. I love myself at and in every evolution, both beneficial and non-beneficial, good, bad, or indifferent. I honor myself for operating in the fullness that I could at that time and at that space. I'm proud of myself for the bravery to grow. I'm proud of myself for finding tools and figuring this shit out. I will give myself grace to figure it out, grace to stumble, grace to pause. I highlight and I cancel. This is my favorite. I highlight and I cancel all contracts and agreements that don't serve me for my highest good. And I give myself permission to evolve as often as I need to, in any way that I need to, without explanation.
Conversations with the Ancestors is produced and edited by Robin Denise. Theme song For You, co-written and co-performed by Robin Denise. Join us in connecting to the Ancestors by rating, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to Conversations with the Ancestors on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can get deeper with your ancestors and support this work by joining the community at robindenise.com. There you'll find free resources for download and online courses to help you pull on your ancestral wisdom and the abundance they have for you. Once again, that's robindenise.com.